Hello and good morning. By now, you know that sound of that music and what it means. It means that you are listening to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers podcast, and I want to welcome you here on Wednesday, what I like to call Wealth Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. So we've got some exciting topics to talk about today, and we have had just a great week this week. We wrapped up our Lunch and Learn earlier this week, and since then we've been catching up and getting ready for everything. But my guest on with me today is here to talk about something that everybody's really familiar with and everybody deals with on a day-to-day basis, but they might not have quite as much knowledge on the topic as they wish they had. So I thought it'd be a great idea to bring her on. Her name is Tina White, and she is the owner of Providence Insurance, an insurance company here in Charleston, West Virginia. And I'm going to bring up Tina right now, and I'm going to ask you, Tina, tell me, what's your hustle?
Hey, so I have hustled insurance for 27 years as my career and opened my own agency here in Spring Hill, South Charleston, West Virginia, just a couple years ago.
So, Tina, now the name of your company is Providence Insurance. Now, you guys handle all kinds of different insurance, don't you?
Yes. So, Providence, if you kind of look it up on Wikipedia, it talks about protection. And so insurance is all about bringing you back to the place you were before a claim happened. And so at Providence, we help you prepare and protect you with the promise that we're going to be here as your community liaison. And it's really great to have an advocate in insurance. And as our world changes and does so much online, you lose the personal touch and having that expert that you need right at your fingertips when you get into a car accident or you have a homeowner's claim or an employee has a workers' comp claim or there's a slip and fall at your business. I take care of all of those things and life insurance and other things of that nature also. But 1-800 number, it's hard. I've known people to sit on the phone at a dealership for an hour with a very top company that everybody would know. I'm not going to say their name, but she got frustrated and she called me and I switched her so she had a local person to talk to. So
That's great. And now I know you've got a bunch of those kinds of stories. Do you find that people are have they gotten kind of used to just filling out the forms online and not getting to know their insurance providers the way they used to in the past?
oh yeah, I absolutely. And it's just so easy. Like just the other day, a customer called and said, "Oh, I was on Credit Karma and I shopped my insurance and I think I found a lower rate." But here's the problem. You don't know what you're buying if you're a consumer. This isn't, you don't have a license. I mean, we have to be licensed and it's like a college level test that we take in order to sell insurance. So if you're going out and you're purchasing your own, I guarantee you've got gaps in your policy. And that's the problem. And though they're getting too comfortable filling out information online and leaving out important coverages like rental car, for instance.
So is that now? I think you really help out people with that. I know it's easy to fill out these forms online, but they're not necessarily asking you all the right questions, right?
Right. And I think that people here, so for instance, let's just use something. One company may call comprehensive, and the other company calls it other than collision. And that's things that happen to your car that are like acts of nature or fire, vandalism, hitting a deer is number one in West Virginia, because we're like the top state for that, by the way. So anyway, how confusing is that? It's the same coverage, but two different companies call it different. And it's the same thing with rental car. Some of them call it like extended transportation. So they call it different things. So you may not understand what you're getting and what you're waiving. And another thing I find is that until people really understand, oh, I don't need rental car, I have 3 cars. Okay, well, what if you drive to Florida and you have an accident in Florida and you need a rental car? You
Yeah, that's
can't.
a problem.
You're going to fly back to Florida to West Virginia or your home and get your car and drive back. What kind of inconvenience is that for a few dollars a month to have rental cars? So people will waive what they think they can get by without until they find out they need it.
Now you personally, you deal in commercial insurance, and I think you've been doing that. I don't want to give away your age, but you've been doing it for a few decades, right?
Well, there you go. Yes, I started in insurance in 1996, and in '97, I went to work for a pretty big commercial producer and started learning all about. We had a lot of contractors, and so I've worked with like bid bonds and when they're getting government contracts, and so contractors and car dealerships. Those are some of my expertise areas.
So what was it? I guess it's been about 2 years ago that you started Providence. What was it that made you want to start your own business and go out on your own? What made you want to get into that type of a hustle?
Well, I always had it in me to be. I'm a born leader, and I love to help people. I like to inspire people, which goes in all facets of my life. But early on, when I was getting used to the into the career, you got to get your feet wet. And with a young family, I needed something I could depend on. So once the kids were out of the house, I worked for a really large agency that, a great owner that's still my friend, but there was a lot of competition within. And I knew that I was meant for more and that I could make a bigger impact if I owned my own agency. And so, almost 2 years, right at the 2 year mark, and not looking back.
Now, I'm curious, do you feel like there's anything unique about owning an insurance agency versus other types of small businesses? Are there certain aspects of that job that, that you're particularly, set up for and good at?
That's a great question. I think that obviously people skills, math, there's not a lot of difference between own another small business because you've got the same things of when is it right to hire an employee? You need some help if you grow and to grow your business, and marketing is the same. But knowing your products in insurance is important. Again, the same in any business. So I think maybe some of the differences come into some really intricate detail with what insurance companies, not only do we need to make a profit as a small business, but then with each carrier that we represent, they hold us to a standard. And when losses start getting too high, they start talking about, what they're gonna require out of us to continue our contract. And I know that's way in the weeds, but that's the only thing I can really think of that's different as a small business.
Sure,
But
that makes lots of sense. Yeah, I mean, you're being held to. I mean, I imagine that you have to set certain standards and you have to meet certain criteria to be able to support certain. I mean, most insurance companies are international, right? So they have to. They're not just going to let any Tom, Dick, and Harry sign up to sell their products, right?
right. Yeah, you got minimum production requirements, and then you can't have too many losses. So you got to insure good people that drive well or have good homes or run good businesses. So there is a lot that's, kind of behind the scenes in there that that you got to consider. But it's I think too, we are held to like the level of like a banker or an investment person, because when you're dealing with people's money, any this kind, their assets, not just their money, but protecting all their assets, we're held at a little higher level and a higher standard. So it's not your average service because of what we provide to a person.
And talking about insurance and the amount of experience that you have, I'm curious, has the insurance industry changed any significant way in the last 5, 10 years, or has it just always been the same it's always been?
Constantly has to change. Just like with cyber insurance evolves every year with a new way of an attack. So the insurers, which I do cyber insurance, by the way, the insurers have to come up with a new layer of, oh, this is this kind of phishing or this attack. So we got to make a new coverage for that. So yes, with online exposures, insurance has changed in all facets. But I'll tell you, the biggest change in 27 years has been the thing that happened in our life, and it's only happened once, is that pandemic. And I know I hate to blame or even talk about it, but it did make a huge change in cost of cars, cost of lumber. So it's effect of home and auto. So basically what I have to say is every person probably seeing this podcast will have a change in their home and auto, or at least one or the other this year. You can shop, make sure you have a good advocate like me, and make sure you have the coverage you need. Don't, you know, decrease your coverages just because you need to maybe save a few dimes. It could cost you a lot more in the future. So having a good advisor there or advocate like me consulting on your insurance is important. But that's the thing. I have seen changes that I can't believe that companies are making rules that used to be maybe more at the agency level. So again, I could get into the weeds on that, but they are even holding they're like, okay, well, if you're not going to try to get this type of customer, we're going to help you because that's the only kind of customer we're going to accept. So if I wanted to give somebody a huge tip today, I would say, do your best with your driving record, of course, but for home and auto, your credit score relates to your insurance score. So the better you can take care of your finances, the better insurance rates you're going to get.
Well, I did not know that. So that's a great little tip. Well, listen, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I heard a little bird told me that you are going to be singing at the Dirty Birds here coming up. Is that right?
Yes, I've loved to sing since I was a little girl, and I tried out for the national anthem, and so I will be singing the national anthem on Sunday, which is so exciting to me
That's
because
this Sunday?
this Sunday,
All
right, the day
right.
before, it's the Labor Day weekend, and
That'll be a big show.
I'm so excited. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you. So that's this weekend. That's May 28th. That's Labor Day weekend. You can go see Tina White at the Dirty Birds. We've had Jay Silverman on here before, so he'd be excited to see it come out. Now, tell me real quick, what was that? What was that tryout like experience? What did you have to do?
So you had to go out and stand at the place on the field that you would stand during the game and sing to everybody that was there at the moment. And that you sang the national anthem. And so that was, it's fun. It's a little nerve wracking. I sing at church every week. I sing in front of hundreds of people and thousands. I've sang in front of more than hundreds. And I felt more nervous doing that because being judged, I think, versus
Yep.
not as much other places, or at least I'm
Yep.
not knowing that I'm being judged.
I
But
I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
yeah, it is. I think I'll be a little nervous. I really wasn't going to tell anybody. They just have to show up and say, "Oh, Tina's singing." But
Well,
anyway,
I hope everybody gets tickets. I hope everybody shows up. Tina, thank you so much for being with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to bring up before we're gone?
Joe, I don't remember how we originally met, probably at a networking meeting, but one of the things we bonded over was exercise and fitness. And I
Yep.
have been an instructor in the Charleston area for 17 years. And again, the pandemic kind of affected that, but that's a passion of mine to get people moving. And it's not about a body type, it's about what's good for your health and gets you out there and feeling your best.
Absolutely. And I've connected with a lot of other people that kind of have that same passion. I think it's important, it's kind of a cliche for West Virginia because we're not exactly at the top of the list when it comes to healthy bodies. So I love getting the word out about that and letting people know. If reach out to Tina. She has seen it all and done it all in the fitness world. And Tina, you were actually in a book a few years back, weren't you?
Yeah. So in 2007, I won a national transformation contest and went on a cruise. It was wonderful. And so that company published a book, and I was the grand prize winner. And I'm here to say that fitness is a journey, not a destination. You can't keep your gains. You have to continually put the work in every day, and that life will deal you some different hands. And don't worry if something changes, just do your best and continue, because that's what I'm doing.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's a great message for everybody, and I think taking care of yourself, you should definitely put yourself at the top. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Right, Tina? Hang on for just a second. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and then I'll pop back. Don't go anywhere just yet. Thank you all so much for watching today. Really appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. If you've got any friends that need a little bit of insurance help, or if you're just interested, be sure to reach out to Tina at Providence Insurance, and I'm sure she would definitely be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, bye for now.